What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another basic movie review channel. I'm Chase, and let's talk about one. And the movie I want to talk about right now is Beast. Now, this one comes to us from Universal, and it comes out this Friday, August 19th, in theaters if you choose to watch this film, regardless of what I'm about to say. So, what is this movie about? A father and his two teenage daughters find themselves hunted by a massive rogue lion intent on proving that the Savanna has but one apex predator. Going into this, I actually didn't know what this movie was about. I really didn't. I remember it being on the slate of films coming out this summer. I was like, "Oh, cool! That could be anything. That could literally be the title for any type of movie." And as we got closer to it, and I started looking it up, and I was like, "Oh, cool! Idris Elba, Charlton Copley. It's Idris Elba versus a lion. He's protecting his family. It's a creature feature. So not really too deep in terms of thematics or story, but it could be a fun little romp with thrills and kills and all types of good stuff. So with that going into it, I was looking forward to it, but I never saw any trailers to it. I kind of just went into it blind. Just real quick before I start this review, I thought it was super funny. I don't know if this was intentional, but now I've associated Universal with family, just because they have the Fast and Furious franchise. And as I was sitting there in the theater, they had the picture up on the screen. Hey, Beast. August 19th. Hashtag scan code, all that stuff. And at the top, it said "Fight for Family." I was like, "Oh no, oh no." Universal's got that word so locked down that anytime when I see that on any promotional material for a Universal feature, I'm just gonna just start laughing. And so I got a little chuckle out of that. So little little side thing, but there you go. But yeah. So I saw the movie. I kind of like it. It's fun enough for that hour and let me look at the time here. An hour and 33-minute runtime. Strike 6 to 7 minutes off for credits. It's a pretty brisk little movie, and it gets all the story stuff out of the way in the beginning as it should. Just lay the foundation of who these characters are and like where they're at in their lives, and then start the hunt, if you will. And so I liked it. I think it's fun enough, and if you like these types of films, or if you like Idris Elba, I'd say to give this one a watch. This one doesn't look particularly good to you to go see in the theater, then renting it or waiting until it hits Peacock is perfectly fine. It's not going to be this masterpiece that you're going to be missing if you don't watch it right away. But a fun little film nonetheless. Let me start out with some of the bad things. Some of the character motivations in these types of films, when it comes to like survival films, they're asinine. There's no way to put it lightly. Some of the decisions that they make in terms of like stay here, or like let's not split up, or like I'm gonna go check this real quick, when we know that there is a gigantic freaking lion just roaming around killing people. So those are all laughable moments and tropes and stereotypes that we see in these movies all the time. So I'm not going to fault it too much. It is what it is, but it is quite dumb. Some of the dialogue is intentionally funny. I don't think that's what they meant to do. Um, I don't know. They could have been intentional with that, but there are some pieces of dialogue that are just absolutely hilarious because they some of them don't fit in the scene and they kind of come out of nowhere, or like some of the lines of dialogue from the daughters doesn't feel right delivered, and so you're like, oh, that was strange. And so you kind of just chuckle a little bit, and there are some things that are just uh really, like I said, unintentionally funny. But with that said, there's a lot of good things in this film. And so one of the things I want to kind of touch upon is director, please excuse me and bear with me on this, Baltasar Karmaker. Um, what I really liked about the direction of this film is that there is a sense of vision and art to it. I know, right? Kind of crazy. What I like about his take on this film is that there's a lot of one take vignettes. So this whole thing is not a one take, or a disguise as a one take, but there are one take vignettes sprinkled throughout this entire film. Now we have our traditional uh, two shot, medium shot, close up combo, and like conversational scenes in the beginning, but there's a lot of scenes that are done in one take. And when we're done with the climax or the tension breaking in that scene, then we cut to the next scene that starts the next one take journey. And I found that to be kind of compelling because it works in a couple of fashions. One, it creates tension. It creates this kind of like untethered tension where there's no control. It's just kind of chaotic, but it's controlled at the same time. Where like the camera's kind of just floating and moving with the characters, but you don't know where that line is. You don't know what's going to happen. So that tension is actually working really well with just the chaos happening in the scene, but it's so controlled behind the camera. That's actually kind of good. And also, it works in the fashion of like it just shows us the world. It shows us the landscape that these characters are in, trying to survive from the lion. So I thought these kind of like one take scenes were really well done, especially when they're stuck in a car for quite some time. They have to maneuver that camera around from seat to seat and window to window. That was really cool. There are several scenes where Idris is fighting off the lion and he's stuck behind uh, objects or like under a car, and it's all done in kind of this one take fashion. But once again, that kind of makes the suspense level heightened in this film, and I really enjoyed it from an entertainment perspective because I had no idea where the camera was going to go, what it was going to follow, what's lurking, on the right of it, to the left of it, as it kind of like swivels across. Like it just everything about it was all about the journey, and I thought the creative decision to have these vignettes was really well done. And to be quite honest with you, it reminded me a lot of The Revenant. I think this is a popcorn flick version of The Revenant. The way it's shot, the way it's handled, it felt like that. And even at the climax of the final battle between Idris and the lion, it felt like the bear scene in The Revenant, which was cool because it felt like it was more realistic to what we would expect someone to act like when fighting said creatures. So yeah, I thought that was a cool little observation. I don't know if that's what he was going for, but yeah, I really liked that it kind of felt like the popcorn version, an entertainment version of The Revenant. It's not as deep or anything, but it gets the job done. There's some creativity involved behind the camera and just the director's vision. So I really like that. In terms of the actual story, I like the fact that this is a family that is kind of broken. This is a father that has had a lot of turmoil in his past, dealing with like his wife and the mother of his children, and just like how that relationship kind of fell apart, and how the kids are feeling the weight of that. And I felt that. I felt that conversation that Idris Elba was having with Charlton Copley in the beginning. It's really touching, really sweet. Kind of just lays down the groundwork for these characters and telling us as an audience member, hey, these are people going through a lot of different things right now, and I think seeing the hero journey to the very end is even more satisfying because you're like, this guy loves his daughters. He just wants to do what's right, and just seeing him kicking ass, throughout the film, it's even more satisfying because you know that he's doing this from a place of protecting his family. So I really liked it from that standpoint in the story. You really get to know the characters, and yeah, it was actually really touching in the beginning. Like I said, some of the lines of dialogue and some of the acting from the girls in particular was a bit off in terms of line delivery, but performances overall fun. I think everyone is having a blast with this, and the fact that this lion is CGI and they are able to convey such terror in their eyes and their body movement. That's really impressive. And so I got to give credit to all four of them. They're all really great. And when it comes to that, they made us believe that there was this gigantic meteor-sized lion chasing after them, and I really appreciate that. Speaking of the CGI lion, it is it is good for the most part. There are a couple times throughout the when it's in sunlight that it's very apparent that you're watching this CGI creature roaming around. But like at nighttime or like around dusk, It was really well handled with its use of like shadows and contrast with like the light, and it felt like it was a part of the environment. So there was definitely a lot of scenes in this where it did feel like that lion was present, and it was a threatening, you know, objective in these people's ways. But there are a couple times, like in the sunlight, where it was very apparent. But yeah, I think for the most part, it's a really well constructed lion being placed in live action scenes. So I got to give them props on that. Listen, is this film going to be in the top 10 of the year? No. Is it going to win the Oscars? No. Not even remotely close. But what I can tell you is this: if you like survival films, very just straight and to the point, you like creature features, this one's not a bad one. Like, yeah, there's some laughable moments and there's some obscene moments for sure. These types of films have that in them. So you can't really strike this one for you can't out this one too much and be like, "Oh, you can't be doing." It's like, no, a lot of these films do that, but a lot of the stereotypes are there. But yeah, if you like those types of films, if you like Idris Elba, I'd say give it a watch. It's kind of fun, and I did like the climax at the end of the film. It was really riveting to watch because you were just like every time when that line would slash a person, whether it be Idris Elba or Charlotte Cope, you're like, I really hope someone kicks that lion's ass. So, yeah, I kind of enjoyed it. You know, it's not anything that's going to be in my top 10 of the list of the year or thought provoking. It's just like it's just fun entertainment. But if you want to wait until it hits Peacock or streaming, I also wouldn't blame you. But yeah, that's my quick thoughts on Beast. Let me know down below what you thought of Beast, whether you liked it, loved it, hated it, thought it was okay. I want to know all that stuff. And thank you for tuning in for this review. I'm Chase, and thank you for stopping by another basic movie review channel. And I'll see you guys next time for the next one. Goodbye.